Unfortunately, old man winter can strike at any time, and we have to travel and go places. So we thought it would be great to bring in one of the experts to tell us how to get around safely during the winter weather. Our good friend, the regional press director from PennDOT, James May, is here with some advice. We're glad you guys come in each and every year to do this. We're not looking forward to the ugly weather, but if it hits, what do we do?
And I'm glad you referred to me as your good friend, because in my line of work, I get called all sorts of things. So I do consider you a friend, and it's good to be here. One of the things that people will notice that will be very different this year is that in the past, you've probably noticed we've been putting a lot more truck bans in place. And we do that for the safety of the public. We really have found that whenever a truck crashes, it's a much more serious crash, but it also ties up the interstate, and that's when you have those situations where the traffic backs up and they're stuck out there for hours and hours because we can't get our plows to get it cleared, and it just becomes this vicious cycle. So in the past, we've been putting a lot more of these truck bans in place, but we understand also that hurts the economic commerce of the area. It hurts the individual truck driver who's out there trying to make a living. So this year we're doing a new pilot program in which anytime that we have a 45-mile-an-hour restriction on the interstates for drivers, that trucks will be required to stay in the right-hand lane throughout the duration of that 45-mile-an-hour restriction. So it's a new program that we're doing. It's a great, we think, a good compromise that we can keep the trucks moving, but to do so in a way that is safe.
All right, good to know. And if we are out there and unfortunately we do get stuck in bad weather, we should be prepared in the car.
Make sure you have your emergency kit with you. And with this, you want to just think through what are all of the items that you would need if you are out there stuck alongside the road. So if you're stuck in traffic or, heaven forbid, you would ever go off the side of the road and be stranded somewhere, what do you need with you if there are no cars and nobody else can find you? What do you need with you for 24 hours? And think through all of the normal things like an extra pair of gloves, warm clothes, a shovel, something to help you with your car. But then also think through maybe some items that would be specific to you. Are you a diabetic? Is there a certain medication that you need? Do you have contact lenses? So make sure that you sort of think through those things ahead of time, put those in your car, and just keep them there throughout the winter.
Absolutely. That is very vital advice. We're also seeing an awful lot of deer on the roads.
We are, and it's really important for us who are parents of drivers to make sure that we've talked to our children about these. As the dad of 3 drivers, one of which is a pretty new driver, it's really important that we walk through and say, what do you do in case of a deer? With this time of year, it gets dark much earlier. There are more deer out there because fewer people are hunting now, and with it being hunting season now, you're going to start seeing those deer coming out. A lot of it is something that's almost unpredictable because they jump right out in front of you without thinking about it. I think what can be predictable is for us to be thinking, okay, this is an area where it might happen. If it does, don't panic. The overreaction many times is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than actually hitting the deer.
And also we wanted to talk about, you said there are a lot of new rules that are out there, and especially for the young drivers that might not be familiar with them.
I think so much of this is because I am now the dad of some new drivers, and you start thinking through, okay, I guess I never really talked to her about this, and then we really never discussed. But some of the things that we may know, for example, the requirement that you have to have all the snow and ice off of your car before you head out. I think more people are becoming aware of that, but it's important that we not only practice that, but we also tell our kids about that. Make sure that you have your seatbelt on and you're taking all those precautions. But then also something like the rule that's been in place for a while now to make sure that if you have your headlights on, that if you have your wipers on, that your headlights are on as well. So those type of things. There's also the rule that the move over law that's in place, because you will see more cars alongside the road with crashes. So if there's a tow truck or emergency responders, it's now the law that you have to move over into a lane that's not right against them. So all of these many times are things that we know. So my challenge to all of us who are parents, think of at least one of these rules that you know that maybe your children don't know, and today before you go to bed, make sure they know that rule.
That's a very good idea. And lastly, I know there's 1-800-FIX-ROAD. You think of that maybe for potholes or what, but it's for emergencies as well.
And that's the key. It is for emergencies. So this time of year, we get one of two things. Either people call it for, it's snowing at my house, please come plow my road. We know it's snowing at your house, and there are plows on the way. You can track them at 511pa.com. It's not really designed for that. What this is great for this time of year, especially when we have the fluctuations conditions and temperatures. If there's a water main break and you see water going down on the road, it's going to be freezing. We use it for that type of thing. If there's a situation where you've got water going onto the road and it's melting and you have some black ice in the area, that's what you would use it for this time of year. And so you can also use it if there's a guide rail that needs to be repaired. If there's a very serious crash, you should always call the Pennsylvania State Police or call your local law enforcement. And but for those type of things where there's an emergency type of situation, you can call 1-800-FIX-ROAD. Even if our crews are not out plowing, throughout the night we always have what we call our ranger patrols, and they would go out and they would fix a water main break or drainage or water, black ice, those type of things. So 1-800-FIX-ROAD, you can use it for those type of situations.
And you always tell us that if people want to get updates, you will send it to them.
We do. That's a good way to, the 1-800-FIX-ROAD is a good way to get information to us. If you want to get information from us, we send out weekly reports where we let you know what is planned. Now this time of year there's not as much planned construction, but anytime we have some of the restrictions that go in place on the interstates, those type of things, if you email me, jamay@pa.gov, jamay@pa.gov, we'll put you on our list and we can send you updates throughout the winter.
All right, very good advice. Keeping us all safe. See, that's why you're our good friend.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
All right, if you have any problems or concerns, he told you how to call the emergency line, but otherwise just please follow all these rules to make sure we're all driving safely this winter season.